Hello, hello. Heather Jean here. Happy Saturday.
Hello.
Hello, Erica.
So excited
Welcome.
we made it together.
I know. We were supposed to be live yesterday, and I've never been live on the weekend. I love this. It's fun, and we just couldn't connect. And that's just how that goes sometimes, right? It's like a whole perfectly imperfect thing. And I was so glad that Erica was so cool about it, and I was cool about it. And so here we are. Ta-da! Welcome, Erica. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us, because you've been around the Confidential Cabaret community for a while, but people might not know you in a real sense. So tell us about you.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, yesterday we had I had some serious technical issues. It was too funny, but it was nice. One of the things when you go live is definitely that things will go wrong. So you have to keep it together. So my name is Erica Leary, and small business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to help them find hidden profits in their business. And I use something called my Power Profit Formula to do that. And usually we help them with messaging or targeting more or less to begin with, and then run through their whole business. So when I work with smaller businesses that are already in operation, there's a lot of other areas where it can be. So if it's a newer business, that's where we start, is that messaging and marketing. But you'd be surprised how many of the businesses that have been in business for 10 years can also start right at that same place because they're not that clear on that. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started my business 26 years ago nearly. And I didn't have to be clear on all that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't have to exist online. And it was like, it was impressive if you had a website. And I was clear on my boundaries. I was clear on my branding, but I didn't have to be doing all the messaging. And I'm finding with Confidence Through Cabaret, it is a whole new world being online.
It really is. You just need to position yourself. I don't know if you've ever read the book, Blue Ocean. I love that book, but it basically is about creating like a spot for you, your company, yourself. And the analogy is kind of gross, but the analogy is where the sharks are all feeding, the waters are murky with blood, red ocean.
Right.
So there's like a lot of people, a lot of noise, a lot of stuff going on, and that you need to create your blue ocean where it's just you in the middle of the open seas. And so basically, more or less, what that means is you need to figure out how to position yourself so that you are the only choice. There is not really competition, like indirect competition with you. And we do that through, our messaging and through who we are and what we're all about, our values, all of that. A lot of people would look at me and be like, oh my God, she's so annoying. She speaks too fast. She's too loud. She's crazy or whatever. That would annoy a lot of people. Whereas a lot of other people would be super attracted to that and want to be around somebody who's happy all the time and positive and loud and excited. So it's something that we can create by who we are if it's our personal business, but it's also, companies create it by how they position themselves, even if it's a product company, a lot of times we want to distinguish, oh no, this is services, that's products, but marketing is marketing and positioning is positioning. And somebody like Apple, they've positioned themselves in a way that, who do they target? They target people who are innovators or people who are excited about being first to the market. And that kind of person is not everybody. Somebody else might pride themselves on, not spending a lot of money on their phone or something like that, whatever's important to you.
Mm-hmm. It is, branding is so important. I know in my corporate work, because I prepare slides and things, I always have to follow their brand guidelines and their messaging and their tone of voice in writing. And so when we started Confidence Through Cabaret, it was the very first thing that we did was really establish, like, what is the look and feel of this, and how does Confidence Through Cabaret sound, and how does and who does that resonate with? And I think that's so important, where very often people will think about what's my logo, or they don't think about that tone of voice.
Exactly. And that's really the more important part. That's why they say like an ugly sales page or an ugly website might, shine for lack of a better word. And the reason is because if we know, who our audience is, who we're speaking to, and we've really got that messaging down, we can do it well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without it
Absolutely.
being beautiful.
Now you are quite a social media queen. So,
Oh, isn't it?
but your platform of choice is mainly LinkedIn. Am I right?
LinkedIn.
Or
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love LinkedIn.
And LinkedIn is because why are you on LinkedIn? I'm gonna guess why, but I'd rather you say it.
So I target established businesses. So they're there.
Right.
My
And
business
they're
is in
there. And that's the thing, right? They are there. So if my audience is on Instagram and I don't like Instagram, I don't know how to use it, or even LinkedIn or what, then I better learn that. It is that, be where they are. And everybody says that. And it's amazing to me how many people don't do that.
Exactly. And I'll be honest with you, I am not one of those people that says, stick to the one, stick to the one. I am all about trying to get yourself in as many places as possible. So I am all over. I mean, I really focus on LinkedIn, but, and kind of shoemaker's daughter. I don't know if I do exactly what I would say that you should do, but definitely what the best practice would be is to, at least repurpose and put your stuff everywhere, because your audience is everywhere. I mean, think about where you are. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn most of the time, but there are a lot of people that are on LinkedIn and Facebook, or LinkedIn and Instagram, or TikTok, or wherever. You'd be surprised how many people my age are on TikTok a lot. I mean, there
Yeah.
are a ton of people on TikTok a lot. So, getting yourself in different places, you're exposing yourself to new audiences that you may not have been exposed to just on your one.
Yeah,
Place.
absolutely. It is time consuming though, right? So because it's the different formats, it's like which platform is pushing out which kind of content at the time, and Instagram turn around and they start doing reels, and we've all got to go on to do reels there, and then TikTok's slightly different, and then LinkedIn slightly different. So it's great to repurpose your content, but I can't keep recreating the content.
If you're like a corporation and you have an entire team that can create a bunch of different stuff, then by all means, you absolutely should create something different for every medium. But if you're, a one-man show or a 1 to 5 man show, just a small little company, and you don't have the time or effort, definitely go all in on one until you get it right. But once you get that one right, I do believe you should repurpose it. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean start creating extra content for the other ones. It just means use what content you've already created and, squish it down, like chop off 30 seconds for a video, or, pull out quotes and, put a little picture on it and put it up on Instagram, whatever. But use what you've already created. Don't start recreating the wheel, because, who has the time, the energy?
Well,
even just that takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not going to get the return on investment. You probably could be using that time some other way. So, absolutely. Okay, so you're going to tell us about the 6 C's of ideal lives, or
conquer your lives.
Conquer your lives. I knew there was a C somewhere and I couldn't work out what it was. I had a little bit too much to drink last night, so a little. And this never happens. I went to an adult
doing it on a Saturday.
That's exactly. Yesterday I had full makeup and I was all jingle bells, and now today I'm like, okay, what's the word? I mean, I'm just being really real here. Like,
where did you go last night?
So so pantomimes are really a big thing in the UK, like big, right? It's a part of Christmas. And so they often will be things that happen after Christmas and into January. But, some of the smaller pantomimes are before Christmas. And
pantomimes are like the little things that do.
No, pantomimes are like, so you have a dame that is historically played by a man dressed as an older woman. So she's the dame. And then you would have historically the prince would be played by somebody very young, and they're just recreations of things like Cinderella. Snow White is the one I saw last night. Sleeping Beauty. Dick Whittington. So all kinds of different stories, and they're really family events. So there's lots of pie in the face, and there's lots of, oh no, you can't. Oh yes, I can. And, so there's lots of banter with the audience, and there's lots of like, the baddie comes sneaking up behind the good character, and everybody says, he's behind you. And so it's a lot
super interactive.
It's very interactive, and it's very cute. And there's usually some singing and some dancing, and everybody's, playing, and there's pranks and so on. Well, my friend writes, directs, and produces these pantomimes over in Wales, which is not too far from where I am. And he does an adult version a few times in a year. So I went to the adult version. And the adult version is a lot of swearing, very blue jokes, and it's still, it was still Snow White, but you can imagine with the dwarfs and the whole thing. Yeah. And so it's a lot of it, and they still talk to us like, hey boys and girls, but it's everybody's
adults. It's hysterical.
Very adult. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's my annual. And we haven't been out for so long. We've been in lockdown on and off ridiculous amounts of time. So I was like, I'm going.
And I'm going to go all in.
I'm going to go all in. Absolutely. So back to the thing. So that's why I'm hungover, because they do these pints of lager, but they're 2 pints in a glass.
They sneak up on you.
They do sneak up on you. Yes, absolutely. So that's why I couldn't remember the C word, coming back to that, which is to conquer your
lives in 6C's. All right. So I created this, and it's a PDF, and I can drop it underneath. I created this for someone who was, I guess, terrified to go live. And I'm like, just go for it. What's the worst case scenario? I've had a language school, and I used to teach English as a second language for 100 years. And so one of the things that I'll talk about in the 6C's is from this. But anyway, okay. So the first one is clarity. The more clear you are on what you want to talk about, the easier it is to talk about. You don't need to memorize it. You don't need to write it out, the whole script. I'm big on putting your little bullets up next to your thing. You can see my 6C's right here. And this is way more than I normally write, but there are 6 of them. So I had to write all of them. So that I don't memorize my 6C's, I just write it down on a little thing, stick it up next to my camera, good to go, right? That's it. So that's what I would say is, design whatever it is that you want to say, plan it out, do your bullets, stick up your bullets, and go to town. And that's it. Don't stress yourself out about it. So clarity. The next one is confidence. So clarity kills confusion. And when you start getting clear on what you want to speak about, you build your own confidence because you know what you're talking about. And that helps like tenfold. So talk about it to yourself in front of the mirror if you want to, without a script, but just talk about it. Figure out what you want to talk about. Obviously, hopefully, we're talking about something that we know about, right? So you want to, I love the way you put that up there. So you want to be able to talk about something with confidence. And the only way to do that is to have clarity. And a couple of ways to build your confidence is to do it over and over and over and over and over and over. So I always say 100 days to confidence. So go all in, tell yourself, I'm going to do this 100 days. If I still hate it when I'm done, then don't ever do it again. But commit, which should have been one of the C's, to your 100 days, right? The next one is continue. And that means continue using what you did. And we're going back to our repurpose. But if you put the effort in to do it, take that live and repurpose it. Do other things with it. Pop it up on your YouTube. If you went live on Facebook, repurpose it onto LinkedIn or onto Instagram. Chop little pieces off, get quotes from it, whatever you want to do, but continue the happiness, keep using it. The next one is number 4 is cheers. Cheers to you that you even started. And this is the one that I'll bring back to teaching English. A lot of people are so embarrassed. They don't want to spit the words out of their mouth. So I always remind them, remind yourself that most people who you're speaking English to don't speak your language. And as American, I'm going to say this, most Americans speak one language. Europeans, you guys speak like 4 or 5 sometimes, so maybe not so much. But for Americans speak like one language sometimes. So if you're speaking, Latin Americans is who I teach English to. So typically, if they are speaking English, it's because the people that they're speaking to don't speak 2 languages, and they're already one up on them. So in terms of going live, 99% of the people in the world would never have the confidence, nerve to go live in the first place. So you are already admired by all. They already think that you are an amazing person, that you even had the nerve. Even if you're stumbling and mumbling through it, they are in awe of you just because you turned the camera on. So give yourself a cheers, have a pint, whatever you want to do to pat yourself on the back. The next one is consistency. So I said 100 days. I say do it 100 days in a row. But if you just want to do it 100 times, however you want to lay it out, but be consistent. That is once a week, twice a week, every day, as often as you can, same time every day, same day every week. However you can create your own consistency, try to create that consistency. That's going to build the momentum and your confidence in yourself. The more we promise ourselves we're going to do something and do it, the more we build that confidence. So by promising yourself you're going to be consistent in doing something and then actually completing on it, it doesn't matter how great it is. You're going to feel good that you actually did it. So build that consistency. And the last one is congratulations. Notice how I kind of fit it in twice with the cheers and the congratulations. But make sure that you are congratulating yourself on a job well done. I don't care if it is the worst one you ever did. It is still a job well done because it is done. It's complete and you did it. So congratulations to you for deciding that you're going to do it, for getting in there and actually going for it and getting it done. Tag Heather and myself in your live. If you do it, tag both of us because we'd love, love, love to congratulate you on your live and help you conquer your live.
I love that. And yes, do tag us because we absolutely will cheer. If you want to go live in here in Confidence Through Cabaret just to kind of practice it, it's a non-judgmental group. It's really completely safe. And if you run out of stuff to say, I never do.
Me either.
So it's really safe. Like so many people, they'll say, I want to go live. And I'll go, okay, let's do it. And then they go, I'm not ready. Ready for what? Like, let's just go on and talk, right? Like, as you say, your stuff.
Exactly.
So let's just go on and talk about, like, who are you and what do you do? And, what are you aiming for and working on? And then congratulations, you've done a live. So
100%. Yes. I started doing that with one of my friends who was horrified to go live. We ended up doing a show for probably 6 months. I don't remember. We called it E-Force because her name was Eileen. My name was Erica. So we just went live together so that she could get comfortable. And then, after about 6 months, she's like, I'm good to go. I can do it. And I'm like, awesome. High five.
Yeah.
So
do it. I was, because I can talk and I, talked for a living. So that was no problem. I'm very much an extrovert. But for me, the live wasn't about talking live or what am I going to say? How's it going to appear? It was more about the technology that freaked me out. And this is a perfect example of that because we couldn't make the technology work at first. I only went to StreamYard because Zoom was a disaster for me and I kept getting cut off. I did a live one time. I was running a masterclass in somebody else's group and I got cut off 3 times and I thought, I just look incompetent. And yet I really know what I'm talking about and I'm happy to be talking, but the technology freaked me out. So I would say even then, just keep it really simple, right?
And keep calm because if you freak out, everybody else realizes that, it's bad. If you laugh it off and you're like, whatever, sorry, let's get back to it and make a joke about it and keep going, everybody else will go with you. So always try to keep calm and kind of go with the flow. I used to do I don't know how to say it, but like I used to administer a test and literally all I had to do was look at the people while they took a test. And if something really bad happened with the technology, like electricity went out or something, then they would freak out if I freaked out, right? So what I would do would be like, you guys, like I would just make a joke of it, forced break, everybody get up, stretch your legs, freaking out. How are we going to get this back up? Blah, 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 but out loud saying, so if you can, force yourself into, have your lines written down, what you're going to say, practice, laughing it off, whatever. But I went live one time, and this was back in the day when lives first started coming out. I can't remember if it was Facebook or Instagram, but we were upside down and we literally laughed. We could not figure it out. I mean, honestly, it was like a testimonial. I was launching something. So talk about looking confident, right? I was launching something and I had somebody else coming on giving me a testimonial and I could not get her to go straight up. But I mean, half the thing was just us laughing. I couldn't help it. It was hysterical. It was so funny. What are you going to do? So know that it's not going to go, exactly as planned most of the time.
Yeah. And I think, like if there, because there are quite a number of people that, like I said before, we've had direct messaging back and forth around, I'm not ready, I can't do it. And I'm like, well, talk about something like your background or a little bit about your story that's relevant, or like just go live. When I first started, so I have a business partner who is quite a lot younger than I am, and he just kind of went, right, this is it, here we go, and he held the phone out and he went, right, we're live. And I was like, I don't know what to say. Of course, I always know what to say. I just didn't know how to do it. And so that's really an easy thing to do, but it doesn't seem easy. It's like all the technology. It's not easy to, I mean, TikTok doesn't seem easy to me, but I'm sure it is if I practiced it.
Exactly. And the beauty about live is that you can do it in a safe group like yours, around people who are going to kind of cheer you on and help you out. You can do it in places like that first before you do it on your own page, or before you put it out to the world, or whatever it is you want to do it. You can also kind of do it in private and just do it with a friend, or do it like if you do StreamYard has where you can record, but it doesn't actually go anywhere. Hold your camera up, record yourself, do that. Don't be so critical though. That's the big thing. Especially as women, we can go on camera and, have probably a pity party for the next 8 years about all of the things that we could fix about ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think if you record it, you don't even have to watch it.
Right. You're better off not watching it. Probably
you can just have the recording and know that you did it without even having to watch it back. Because I'm doing a new masterclass this coming week around mind, body confidence, and shifting your beliefs. You should join me on Tuesday, everybody that's watching, just saying. But anyway, that's not where I was going. But I have been on StreamYard and I have recorded parts of it at least 3 or 4 times, and I haven't watched it back. I just needed to have the accountability for it of talking into it and sort of saying, how am I going to explain this? Like I know these steps inside and out, but how do I explain them in a way that makes sense for other people and comes across in the right way for, not only extroverts, but also introverts and, people who like more reflection and so on. And so I put the recording on because it puts a little bit of pressure on, but I've not watched them. I've deleted them now, actually, because I didn't need it. I just needed to have that accountability to figure it out.
I love that. Have you ever read Think and Grow Rich?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so so part of the 6 steps of Think and Grow Rich is to literally write it down. And I know that a lot of people think that, that's kind of cheesy or whatever, but it is write it down and be as clear as you can about it. Now we're talking about something else, but when you're doing your lives, it's the same thing. If you can write it down, be very clear about what you want to say, and then actually get on and say it out loud, because when you think something in your head, it's not the same as when you put it on paper. Yeah. It's not the same as when you say it out loud. So just sort of thinking it in your head, you really aren't as clear about it as you think you are. I promise you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I literally wrote out my entire 90 minutes. I wrote out everything. And then I practiced it with the recording on StreamYard. And then I, kind of shaped it a little bit more. And then I cut it all down to keywords, like you say. I've got a few post-it notes here. That's kind of like that's 90 minutes.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
it. That's all I got. So I cut it all down. But the first time I read it all through, and then I went, no, that doesn't work. And then I revamped it, and then I shortened it, and I played with it. And so you can do those things, and you can put them, you can put them unlisted on YouTube if you want to. If you want to hang on to them somewhere, and you want storage space, that works really well. I love this conversation because there are so many people. Yeah. And yes, Nazma's saying, yes, watch it. I mean, so Nazma's my inspiration because, if you watch it, right, then, you can get feedback for yourself. I'm sort of talking about like at the beginning when you need to not like,
freak yourself out.
Yeah. Once you do that and you have it right, then watch it. And then, like you say, not be critical, but look for improvements. So what can I do better? Not what did I do badly? Because I can't change the past, right? Yeah.
And look for stuff. This is like a key to happiness, but look for things that you can control and not things that you can't control, which is sort of what you said, like in a different way. But, if it's because you have wrinkles, you're going to have wrinkles tomorrow too. Don't worry about that. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry about that. If it's because you said something and you're like, it's not so clear, that you can control. You can change that. So go all in on that. If you watch it and you re-listen to yourself and you don't like the sound of your voice is probably going to sound the same tomorrow unless you're going to hire a voice coach.
Yeah.
So don't worry about stuff like that. Worry more about, are they going to understand what I said? Is there a better way I could say that? Are there some key words that I really want to make sure that I put in there that I'm leaving out? Those are the types of things that you want to critique it for, which I also actually put on that 6 steps on the PDF. It does say critique it. But I want to be definitely clear. Like, don't critique yourself in like crazy things that, you're not going to be able to change. Don't worry about it. You're beautiful. You're amazing. And people, I promise you, are in awe of what you are doing, because most people would never in a million years start their own business, get on a live. I mean, public speaking is one of the biggest fears of the world in general. So just the fact that you're on it, I mean, is like so incredibly amazing to everyone. So don't beat yourself up over stumbling over a couple of words or forgetting a bullet point, or they don't know, don't worry about it.
Okay. I have been training adults my entire life and teenagers who are way more critical. Let me just say that. For 10 years, I did mentoring programs for teenagers, and I can say to you that I am used to using slides and things like that. If you're used to using them, great, then use them, because they can be a really nice little memory aid to kind of see keywords on the slides, but they can also be complicated if it's not your style, So I prefer not to have slides, but several people in the Confidence to Cabaret community will remember a training that I did. I did a big training event on imposter syndrome, right? I wanted to share everything I knew about imposter syndrome, which was way too much information to share for the first thing. So way too much content. And I made slides, and they didn't come up on StreamYard properly. They were all jumbled. I'm talking about imposter syndrome with slides about imposter syndrome that is freaking my imposter voice out. And do you know what people said? I thought you did that on purpose to show us that it doesn't matter.
See? Exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Going with the flow. I mean, that takes a little bit of time to figure out how to do it. But if the one thing that you can remember is stay calm and keep going, smile your way through it, because 9 out of 10 times nobody even noticed And if they did notice, they may think you did it on purpose, or they'll just breeze right over it. It won't be what they remember unless you make a big deal out of it.
Yes, absolutely. I've seen so many presenters make a big deal out of it, and it's almost like you've got something on your end of your nose and you don't want anybody to see it. By going like this, they're all going to be looking, right? Exactly. They just fully are. If you just left it and just carry on, they might notice it and then let it go and move on,
Yeah, their eyes will get adjusted to it and then they'll forget it's there.
Exactly. There's a whole different thing to do in this. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so for all of my guests that and that's not like, if you want to do live, I don't have to do this, just saying, like, I don't want to freak you out, but I know Erica can handle this. So Erica, so for all of my guests that are kind of comfortable with it, I want to ask you about cabaret. If you were performing cabaret, so that could be like singing, dancing, that could be burlesque, that could be drag king or queen, that could be aerial, that could be contortion, that could be comedy, that could be anything that's really in a small live audience venue is kind of the essence of cabaret. What kind of performance would you do if you were going on a live stage?
I would be the MC.
But hosting is hard. I don't even know if I could do that. Like that, you got to keep the show going. You set the flow and introduce everybody. And
I feel like if I sang, I could probably clear out the audience. So that might not be my best. I would have to do some sort of acting silently.
Okay, but you can't. I mean, that's cool. That's cool. Like, I'm a dancer and I have no rhythm and I don't remember choreography. So that
wouldn't matter. I would totally do that. That's me. That's totally me. I'll go out there and make a fool out of myself, no problem, and have fun doing it. But if you wanted the show to be perfect and,
see, that's the thing. Like, we're not.
I can't memorize the choreography. Yeah, no. If it was like ad hoc, how would you say it?
Ad-libbing.
Yeah, if it was like ad-libbing or something, then maybe that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, so I freestyled my last 2 shows actually. So I had a character in mind. I obviously had chosen music. I had a character in mind which helped me design my costume or my layers, because it was a burlesque performances. And then I knew what I wanted to say in the using my body and the music. I knew what I wanted to express, but I had no idea what was going to like what I was going to do, what movements I could do. I didn't even know what movements I could do anymore because it had been so long with lockdown. I had lost all my strength and fitness. But I knew that I wanted to make these statements.
That's so fun. I think that being able to think on your feet like that is such an amazing skill. I think improv would kind of don't they do that too? Like one line feeds off the other line or something like that?
Yeah. There's no script.
I've never done either of them. But
okay, but you're gonna go on stage and you're gonna be the MC, all right? Or you can dance, whichever. What one prop would you want with you?
What one prompt?
Yeah, you can take one thing on stage with you besides a microphone. So some people have taken a mug or a pen. Some people have taken a big feather fan or a chair. Some people take, a cape
crown?
Or wings or
a crown.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I love that. Okay. All right. So there you are. And you've got
Give me the confidence, even if I'm not feeling it.
Exactly. So here's the last question then. What is your stage name? Please welcome to the stage.
Princess. It couldn't be Erica because that would be so boring. Princess Erika.
I like that. It's like a play on your name. It's like a play on your name. That's so cool. Did you know that, like, the flower of the heather flower which is all over Scotland. I mean, it's in a lot of places, but Scotland's, it's like a really, it's everywhere. But in German, the flower is called Erica.
Ah, look, our names are like.
Hmm. So I had some Swiss German friends in Zurich, and they could never say my name properly, so they just called me
Heather?
Erica. Yeah, because the th, and so they would just the it's the same in England as well. A lot of people can't say Heather; they say Eva. The H
Ah,
and then the th and then the r. It's just not. I mean, we're North American, right? So it makes sense for us. But yeah, so a lot of people, like in London, they would say Eva, or they just call me Ev. You know.
oh,
Um,
that's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. So, but my friends in Zurich were just like, "Oh, I'm just calling you Erica. It's the same flower. It's the same plant." It's
I
like,
did
oh,
not know
cool.
that. That
So
is
there you
so
go.
cool. So our names are
Yeah,
the
that's so
same.
cool. So, okay, so you're going to be Princess Erika. I
Princess
love
Erika.
this. Right? So the reason that I wanted to do this, and
Maybe we should switch it to Queen. I'm a
okay,
little
Queen.
old to be a
Oh, why?
princess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why not? Yes.
All
Yeah.
right.
Like, let's not shy away from this. If you're wearing a
Right.
crown, damn it.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's go for it. All in.
So the reason that I wanted to kind of tie this in with it is and this is why we talk about it on like every podcast episode. I like to ask the guests this, is because if you're really afraid of doing a live and you're really afraid of showing up, then show up as your fierce,
Queen
strong
Erika.
Queen Erika, right? So it's like, oh, what am I doing? And I don't know how to do this, and like this is all freaking out. And then it's like, no, you know what? I got this.
I love that. That is so powerful. Queen Erika. I'm going to have to get it drawn.
It's beautiful, right? And then it's like, no, actually, you know what? Queen Erika shows up, and it doesn't matter if it's perfect. She just shows up and takes over the stage.
I love that. I love it. That is amazing. Oh, that's so fun. That is a fantastic idea that is powerful.
It is powerful, and it's so important for us to tune in to that fierceness in our voice instead of that negative little voice that's going, So when I'm sitting there with my running an imposter syndrome training session with my slides all jumbled up, my imposter voice is going, "What the hell are you doing?" Right? And then I'm like, "No, because you know what? I have 9-inch heels on the shelf behind me, so I'm freaking doing this."
What is your show name?
So my real stage name is also Helen, and that comes from because in the UK people call me Helen a lot. I don't know why, they just do. They always have. They'll like, I'll send an email to somebody and I'll sign it from Heather, and they'll go, "Hey, Helen," and I'm okay.
That's so weird.
Right, yeah. And even like, even like if I go into Starbucks or something, when they put a name for the cup, and they say, "What's the name for the cup?" and I'll say Heather, they write Helen. I'm not kidding you.
That
It's
is
the
bizarre.
weirdest thing. It happens to me all the time. I have a friend called Hannah. It's the same thing happens to her. So I decided I was going to embrace Helen, and she would be my alter ego, because I do a lot of pole and aerial work, and everybody in that studio knows me as Helen because that was what everybody thought my name was. And so, and years later, they found out that wasn't my name, so that's fine. And so my stage name originally was Helen Back. And that was because I had a lot of baggage that I carried with me. And I had to, I wanted to express it, and I wanted to release it, and it was just, brutal stuff. And it was, at the time, my late husband had Alzheimer's and was going downhill very, very quickly. And so I had all of this stuff that I was like, I'm back from hell, like, fierceness. And then in lockdown, when I started kind of cleaning house and getting rid of stuff inside of me and changing beliefs to suit me and finding my boundaries for who I am now, that's when I started to go, you know what? I'm not Helen Back anymore. I'm not my backstory. I need to move on. So my backstory is still my backstory. I am still a mother, even though my children are grown up, but I'm also a fierce woman. I'm also a businesswoman. I'm also, and so that's kind of where also Helen came from. It's like, I'm also all these other things, not just my titles.
I love it. Hal Elrod, do you know who that is? Hal Elrod, he talks about The Miracle Morning. He wrote that book, The Miracle Morning.
I know The Miracle Morning. Yeah.
Okay, so he talks a lot about like stepping into that other person, you know, like becoming that other person a lot. And I think that is, you know, different, but similar to what you're saying. And I think it's powerful, you know, if you are feeling like I'm not enough or I can't be, or I'm not, you know, stepping into Queen Erika, I am going to no lie, I'm going to have Queen Erika drawn out and I'm going to put it on my wall. I love that idea. I think it's so powerful. Everybody should do that. Think of your alter ego self that will step in. That's so cool.
Yeah, it is so cool. And it's something that you need to not overthink. So
yeah, like we just did.
Yeah, if you overthink it, because I've asked this lots of times in posts in on socials about like what would your stage name be, and people don't really answer, or it's very, very contrived and clever and play on words and so on. And it really isn't that. It's that bit where you're like, because you went, "No, I'm not a princess. No, I'm queen." You know, and it's that where it's that inner knowing that talks to you and says, "This is who I am." Yeah,
that is so
it's that.
fun. That is
yeah.
So
So please share with us when you make your sign. I would love to see it.
I'm going to.
Put it into the community. I love that. Love that. Erika, it has been so much fun. I just want to put up the 6C's to conquer your lives. That's what we have been talking about. That's our theme for today. So clarity, confidence, continue, like 100 days. That's a lot, right? It's actually not that a lot. It's not that a lot at all. It's only like a third of a year, right? If you think about it.
And if it stresses you out, make it 20 days. Don't, you know.
Make it 20 and then do 20 more.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And then cheers, make sure you're celebrating, and consistency, and congratulate yourself for even showing up. I love it.
Yes, that's the big thing, is showing up. It's like exercising, you know, the minute you get out the door, it's done. You know, you've already done it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's getting out the door, that's the rough part.
And everybody would know that, you know, if you're going to exercise and you're going to do like a half-hearted workout, it's still better than no workout. It's the same with lives, right? Like just show up and do what you can.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes.
So I've loved this conversation. Thank you so much, Erika. Where can we find you? We can find you in the Confidence to Cabaret community on Facebook.
Yes.
Where else can we find you?
You can DM me on Facebook, or you can go through my Erika Leary, or in LinkedIn. I'm Erika Leary in LinkedIn, and on, I think, Facebook and Instagram, it's The Real Erika Leary, because Erika Leary must have been taken. I don't remember why, but it is The Real Erika Leary on Facebook and Instagram, and on LinkedIn, Amazing. It's just Erika Leary.
Beautiful. And The Real Erika Leary, if you are hearing this in audio, it's ERICA, and Leary is LERY.
LEARY.
Sorry, LEARY. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at it. I just typed it, and I still can't say the words.
And it's funny you talk about Helen, but no matter how many times I write my name ERICA, people will write it back ERIKA or ERICKA, or nobody spells it right. I don't know why. I think it's so simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe you need to add a whole bunch of K's into your Queen Erika, you know.
Exactly. No C's. That's funny. I love it.
Erika, it is such a pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you for supporting us. I so appreciate it. If you share the link to the PDF, then I'm sure that there are a lot of people in here who could really benefit from the 6C's to conquer your lives. And I really appreciate that you're sharing that with us.
Yes, I will drop it under the video. Thank you all so much.
You. I'm Heather Jean. This is Erika Leary. I'm reminding you that it is your body, and it's your world, and it is your stage. Take up space and own it.
Own it. I love it.
Yes. Bye, everyone. Bye.